Hey there, this is Chris Prochaska, and I am joined with probably the most special guest I've ever had. Yeah, my 13-year-old son, Eli, who is absolutely an amazing, amazing guy. And today we were just talking about over dinner in the kitchen, we were talking about how a local company who does a lot of training around sexual violence and domestic abuse and that came to his middle school. He's an 8th grader here locally in Bend, talking about relationships, intimate relationships between men and women as part of the health class, and kind of how how to navigate that, right?
Yeah.
And some of the things that he told me, I was like, what? How are they, why are they telling you that? Or the teaching of it and the way it was presented. So Eli, tell me again about what happened. Like, tell me, what you told me in the kitchen.
Well, first she read off a story about a girl who, it was a made up story, but it was a girl who was in college, and she goes, well, yeah, lately I've been having sexual affairs with all the guys in my dormitory, and then I met up with this other guy who I wanted to have a strong relationship with as a boyfriend and even marry, and we've been having sexual affairs too, and I haven't really liked it. And so I think he's actually sexually abusing me. And then the guest teacher came in, or the guest teacher that came in said, so what do you think makes her think these? And thinks about these actions and thinks, why is this guy, why does she think that guy is going to do that? Which I think is just crazy. I mean, if you've had sexual affairs with everyone in your dormitory and the one guy who you don't like having sex with, you think he's going to rape you. That's not really true. It's not like that's what she was trying to tell us. And it really sounded like she was focusing the whole thing on that almost all men are rapists or sexually abusing people.
One of the things that you said before you shared that story with me, and it was kind of a strange story, because even I was like, wow, weird context. But one of the things you shared with me prior to that was how she talked about domestic violence and relationships, and the way she said it. I mean, one of the things that we were talking about was not the content, because of course the content you guys need to learn, right? Mm-hmm. But it was the delivery of it and how it made you feel. So can you share how that was?
Just sitting through the whole class, it was kind of like, it was uncomfortable to be a boy or a guy. I know all the guys were sitting there. Some of them were bored, some of them were uncomfortable, some of them were just trying to get the time to go by. It felt really uncomfortable to sit in that class while she was like, well, so today we're going to learn about sexual abusing and rape and bad relationships. And, it can happen where women are doing it to men, but mostly it happens to men doing it to women, like really emphasizing that part. And that just kind of was like the gateway, like, oh God, this isn't going to be fun. And
right.
It's kind of just like 40, 50 minutes of just sitting like, what? I don't really want to be here.
And why didn't you want to be there? What was it? Was it that it was just
uncomfortable to sit there. I mean, like the way she was teaching it, like all men are bad, it just didn't feel good to sit there and listen to it as a guy.
Okay. So it wasn't, so let me ask you this, because I think, if somebody's watching this, they'd be like, well, that is how it happens. Mm-hmm. But you are, you were saying in the kitchen, you're like, I'm 13, like, what the hell? Not all guys are like that, right? Mm-hmm. And how does that feel as a boy who's coming into a time when you're going to be wanting and thinking about sex more and all of that? Like, how does it feel for you to hear this and to hear it from a place of all guys are bad? And that's what you were saying in the kitchen.
It felt weird to sit there, like as if she almost was like, I don't really want guys to be with girls because almost all of them are gonna start having sexual sexual, like, abusing them. And I was like, what? I'm not. I like, you're basically, she was saying, oh, you guys are gonna go into high school, and she literally said to her face, at least all at one, every other man or almost every single man is going to sexually abuse a woman. That's literally what she said to her face. She said almost every man has or is going to sexually abuse a woman.
How does that feel for you to hear that?
That's like, I don't know, it kind of just felt like she was almost like controlling us. Like, yeah, we're going to make fun of you because we're going to say, oh, you're going to do this. And even if you don't do it, we're still going to say, oh, you do it.
So is it making fun, or is it making you wrong before you even do it?
Yeah, it was almost like
accusing
us, or like saying, oh, yeah, you're going to do this, when that's not even close to what we're going to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, though, that it does happen? Do you think that some of what she was saying was maybe true, or it was uncomfortable to hear?
Maybe some guys will do that, but the way she said it, as if all guys are going to do it, that's not true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like being put in that position.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So what was the reaction of some of the girls in the class when that was happening? Because I bet that, how did that go?
Some of them are just sitting around like, I don't really want to be here as a school, whatever. Mm-hmm. But some of them are like, yeah, this is really true. I'm really against guys now. And like, so a couple of them were like always raising their hand, like, yeah, this happens. Or like whenever she'd say, oh yeah, so-and-so wanted to have sex with a girl, but she said no. And then he got really mad. And that's going to happen. Every guy is going to do that. And all the girls were like, oh my God, yeah, that's always going to happen. Oh my gosh, we're so scared of that gender over there sitting at the other side of the classroom.
Right.
It's like, what?
So where do you land there, right? Like, where's the room to have a discussion? Is there any room?
Yeah, it almost felt like there was none.
There's
like
no
she
room.
was just completely shutting off our side of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm going to have my say against you guys, and you're not going to say anything because I'm the teacher, and if you say anything against me, that's technically rude.
Right. So what do you think? If you were to say something to the people who are teaching this, or those discussions, like, what would you say? What would you say would be helpful?
Maybe I was thinking have a guy come in.
Okay, so a guy and a girl come in and talk about it?
Maybe like one day have a girl and say, oh, yeah. And then have another guy in who's never done anything like this, has the same kind of reaction that I do.
Yeah.
Or just like that, just like a chill dude, just living life, and then also put in this certain sort of stereotype.
Yeah.
Maybe have someone like him come in.
Yeah.
That's not afraid of saying it.
Right.
In front of the whole class.
Yeah. So one of the things that we also talked to, so having a guy and a girl there would be really helpful, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else? Let me ask you that before.
I don't know.
No?
Not off the top of my head. No.
Okay. But one of the things that you were saying is that it feels like that there's all this push for the women, and I'm a woman, I'm a mom, right? Like I have a daughter, he has a sister. You're going to be protective of your sister too, even though they fight all the time. And he says he hates her, but he doesn't. That obviously there's going to be that dynamic, right? But how does it feel as a 13-year-old boy who is watching this and learning, from the metoo and all of that, and even the way these folks were teaching you, this woman was teaching you about intimate relationships? Do you feel like you learned something, or you got something about how to be in an intimate relationship, or did you just feel like you were already cursed? And
I just kind of felt like, girls, don't get in a relationship with any guy who you don't no. I said, like, maybe it could be like a friend that you hung out with a while and then you're like, oh, maybe I want to date with you, but like, don't ever go get up to a guy and try to have a relationship with him. Like, stay away from all guys that you don't know. I was just like, like, oh yeah, don't almost like don't date anyone that you have no idea. Like, I don't know how to say this. She's basically just pushing away a lot of ideas for a lot of people. Like, yeah, only date these types of guys, or don't date guys at all. Like, that's bad. They're gonna hurt you, something like that. So I don't know. I didn't really learn anything from it. Really, I just kind of felt pushed aside as if they're only teaching the girls. And then if the guys were like, some guys were whispering, and then like so it was like a guest teacher and then two other teachers, and other teachers, I mean, of course it's rude to talk while another person's talking, but they're like, hey, stop talking, like really like forcefully. Hey, we're learning something here. It's like, it honestly feels like we're not. You're not teaching anything. You're not teaching us anything that's worth listening to for us guys.
For the guys.
Right? For the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, all the girls were like, yeah, this is totally true. Oh my gosh, all guys are bad.
Right.
And then the guys are sitting here like, guess I'm a villain now.
Right.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Do you think that makes guys kind of be like, well, fine. That's the way you feel about me. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Or do you feel like it's more like, okay, I'm screwed. I'm never going to get a date.
The second one.
The second one.
Okay, you're going to teach all girls to be against us. I guess I'm just going to live by myself. Chill over here in our corner of despair.
Our corner of despair. Oh, sweetie, I hope you're never in a corner of despair. For reals.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to say about this? Anything else that just from a teenage boy perspective about this?
I think they're pushing us aside too young. Like, I'm a boy. I've even talked to a girl fully, I guess. Like, I mean, I've talked to her maybe if she's in a project or something like that. Like, hey, can you help me on this or something like that? Or she's just sitting next to me in class, but like, I never said like, hey, do you want to go out? Like, to any girl like that. Yeah. And they're already saying, oh yeah, you guys are all bad. You guys are going to get in a sexual relationship and be abusive. Like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm still halfway through puberty, and you're already pushing us aside.
Yeah.
So.
Do you feel like it's important to talk about these things, but maybe in a different way? Like from the boys' perspective and the girls' perspective? Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's not like you're saying it's all, like, you know, we shouldn't talk about this and that there's not guys that are doing it.
We should talk about it. Like, yeah, there's definitely people who are doing it. There's definitely guys who are doing it. But I think we shouldn't put it in the perspective of all guys are doing it.
Yeah.
Or don't stay away from the guys. Like, we could say, oh, yes, it's dangerous. I mean, don't trust, like, strangers, or don't try not to get in a relationship with someone that you really don't trust. Like, be in a relationship with someone you trust and actually love, not with someone that you just want to have sexual affairs with and then leave.
Right.
Sort of thing.
So it kind of goes back to the first story that you shared about the girl in college who's like having sex with all these other guys, but then wants to have an intimate relationship with this one guy, but feels like it's not going very well
for her. Like, she's
right?
Like, oh yeah, I don't like it as much, so he's sexually abusing me. Well, you made the choice to have that. It's not like he's like, have sex with me now, which is what they should be teaching us to not to go against, but they're almost teaching us like, if a girl doesn't like what she made the choice to do, then it's the guy's fault. That's what it felt like.
That's what it felt like, yeah. And that, I mean, I agree. I totally agree. And that's why we're having this conversation, because I really think that your point of view is super important. And I can tell that it really deeply touches you. And it's something that is really hurtful. And I think as we come into this Me Too, post-Me Too, current Me Too environment, and we're talking about relationships between men and women and boys and girls. I mean, we're all going to screw. We're all going to have sex. We're all going to fuck. We're all going to do all that stuff. I know he's just like, oh my God, my mom just said fuck.
No.
But listen, you know, we got to take into account what the boys are learning and where they are and where they fit in. Thanks.
Yeah.
I love you. Thanks.
Love you too.
Mwah. Thanks, you
Ooh,
guys.
my dog will tan on fleek.